Hello.
Hello.
Hello. I want to say hello to my friends as well. Are they available? Oh, hey, Jess.
Easter Bunny.
Oh, she did. Okay.
Easter Bunny.
Hey, Lucy.
No, she's just joining the audio.
Okay.
Sharon hasn't joined her audio
That's
yet.
okay. So we're streaming as well as doing the Zoom Q&A, just answering final questions for Hyatt Empire. Aria's here counting her eggs for Easter. Have a look. Hey, Lucy, look. Aha!
I'm matching all of the eggs up.
Are you? Yum, that looks good. Yum, 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 yum. We're eating chocolate for breakfast. Aren't we, Aria? Oh my gosh. We don't normally do that, do we? No. Okay, everybody. Whenever anyone has any questions that they may want to ask me, please let me know. Isn't she hilarious with that beanie? Oh my God. Chris, can you get on my group, Hyatt Empire group, and let them know that I'm also live streaming on my personal and that we're on Zoom? Please.
Look, Mommy.
Hey, Jess, can you hear me?
Mommy.
Hello, darling.
Mommy.
Yeah.
I want to give one to Daddy.
Okay, go and find Daddy because I've got to do this Q&A.
Daddy.
I know, Lucy, it'll be great. So, Jess, darling, do you have any questions for me?
Not yet.
Okay, so do you know much about the program, or why don't you actually just start to tell me a little bit more about what it is that you do and where you're at with everything in your business?
Okay, I do coaching. So I call myself a mind fit coach because, you know, externally I also do training sessions and fitness.
Okay.
But I do obviously life coaching. And I guess I've been stuck for a while on how to really build it and gain the clientele.
Okay. Chris, I don't know if you, sorry, Jess, I don't know if you could take Aria. Aria, darling, I've got a call on. Could you go and play with Daddy and then you can have some of those eggs? Okay.
This is Mommy's bedroom.
Yeah, Mummy's bedroom would be a great idea. And I think I might stop this live stream just because I can't, no one can hear the questions anyway. Okay, sorry, Jess. Okay, so so you're a personal trainer, did you say?
Yes, and now I'm life coach as well with NLP skills.
Okay, so let me just see. So you're actually, sorry, I couldn't even hear that properly. Let me see if I can get my audio up. Okay, that's better. So you're also doing life coaching, did you say?
Yes.
Okay.
With the NLP as well.
With the NLP, did you say?
Yeah.
Okay, perfect. Okay, so yeah, obviously, are you wanting to work just offline or also bringing your business online?
No, I've been really wanting to bring it online, and I just have been really stuck and not finding the right person to help me.
Yeah.
To know how to transfer
it all on. Okay, and are you doing any sort of like video marketing? Do you have an opt-in?
Yeah, I've got a Facebook page and I do a Friday video every Friday on that.
Okay, great.
Post.
Okay. So really at the end of the day, you know, some people will say they don't really love running groups. So having a group's wonderful in terms of marketing. Hi, Eva, because you know, people are always notified immediately when you're making a post. So it's a wonderful way to connect with your audience, to keep them inspired, to keep them engaged. So I'd definitely be recommending that. We're going to want to always when it comes down to this, and someone asked me a question before, I think it was Sharon, and I said, you know, she teaches cooking for children, and I said, look, we need to really also expand. And the same goes obviously for you too, Jess, and for any woman that's coming into this program. But even just if you weren't coming into this program, I think in order to really sort of expand our reach, we need to start by expanding how we see ourselves and how we position ourselves in the marketplace. So yes, a coach is great, and telling people that you're a coach. We might also call you a transformational teacher. It's like really looking at your own, and sometimes when someone first sort of starts to speak about themselves in that way, or even me saying that to you right now, I don't know what sort of emotion it might elicit, but it's really owning your, what, sorry? I think we're getting some back. I might just turn off someone's. Sorry, I'm just going to mute somebody. Okay, I think that was Brezhnev. I could hear his him on the phone. Okay, so Jess, so really expanding how we're going to really position yourself, also the content and what you're talking about. Usually, I find in order to bring in more clients, so really looking at the core struggles, so beyond someone's body and physicality and this sort of exterior sort of pain point that they might have around body, right? We're always going to be looking at a deeper emotional context of that external pain, right? So I'd be really encouraging you to really develop very clear positioning statements, talking points to really be able to draw those clients in. Does that make sense? So it's really going to be you becoming a leader in your profession and really tackling the real issues behind some of those external or physical representations of people's struggles. Because often people, as you know, they'll be like, oh, my body or whatever, but really we need to look beyond that. So we're going to really want you wanting to, you know, get to the heart of why someone is out of alignment or imbalance or their health is poor. Is that sort of, does that resonate?
Yeah, that resonates. That is somewhere I've been stuck with. So I've been trying to, well, I have been working on finding the problem that I do give, the solution, I guess, that I do give to their problem, and really languaging it around so it does actually resonate with them, so they're drawn to me. That's where I've been really struggling to find, what do I do here, and how do I put it into show, like,
yeah.
Other than,
well, I can take you through a process if you do sign up, where absolutely, where I'll go. I think this is one thing that I want to say to everybody on the call today, where I don't think sometimes I explain myself well enough. This is not a massive group. I'm not Marie Forleo. I'm not this type of other coach. I love Marie Forleo. I'm not saying anything bad about any coach out there in the marketplace. I'm just trying to say that the level of intimacy that we provide is like, I will know every single one of you. I'm going to know energetically what's going on for you. I'm going to know who your frigging client is, and we're going to hone that in together. So when we're doing, say, the first week, so the first 5 modules, I want people to watch them week by week. So when you come to me, we're doing laser sharp. I call it diva coaching. Diva, by the way, comes from divine. It's not ego. It's all about divinity. And really doing our work that we're really called to do. So I will be going around the table. Now, if we do not, you and I, Jess, hone it in a group-like setting, I will personally message you, I will call you, and we will friggin' sort it out. No one is going to be left behind and struggling. As long as you do the work, I'm going to be there for you to make sure that you get the adequate amount of support that you need in order to get. So we've got to nail this, because otherwise, as you know, it's like speaking to a big black gaping hole of nobody when we're not clear. Part of this, though, I'll tell you from my own experience, and I don't think anyone is immune to this, part of the getting crystal clear in our messaging is really also about us really more owning our power and slowing down and taking the time to really claim that for ourselves. Because I know initially when I started talking more and talking more to the pain points, getting more direct, talking even about my programs, my offerings, working with me, I never wanted to come across ego or salesy or pushy. And so I have a lot of processes in order for you to sort of drop any shame that you have around that. Because at the end of the day, if we don't know how to sell or we don't communicate our messaging really clearly, we cannot do the work that we're called to do. We end up suffering, and our ideal divine client who's calling out for us ends up suffering. So that's an area that I will be helping you with. And if you cannot sell, you're not going to be able to fly. And so I use these funny things, these terminologies like, oh, you know, my girlfriends, sorry, they're my clients. I call them my girlfriends. They laugh at me, and we all get involved in this. And I'll say, go and sell your ass off. Come on, let's go sell. Let's go sell. It's not like, let's go sell. Let's make lots of money. It's like, let's create the revolution. Let's create the movement. And it becomes this fun thing. I've even had a couple of clients who signed up for the last Fine Empire. 90% of them love that kind of terminology. Some people get repelled by it. That's okay. But it's usually to do with their stuff. So really selling is serving. And I want you to really fly in that area. We'll get crystal clear on who your market is. We'll even be writing together. I'm going to be getting you to do exercises. I don't know who that is. Where I'll be asking you to write like positioning statements. So we'll be getting like unique selling propositions. We'll be writing actually, all your core core titles for live streams that we can then convert into ads and blog posts, or look at multi-purposing your content as well. So every video that you're creating, sorry, I've got to mute someone else, is going to be multi-purpose, usually as an ad content as well. In terms of also developing people's, your opt-in, your free content obviously is going to be really important as well, like where you're going to be able to really build your list and then also connect with people. So I'll be looking at all of your opt-ins, what kind of marketing and your messaging, and making sure that it's really, really enticing to make sure, and I'm going to talk really a bit of marketing speak here. Make sure that sorry, I just muted Raquel, to make sure that your conversions are strong, okay? So that's really important, because Facebook ads, as I've said, is not enough. We really need to make sure that we're getting that messaging right. Jess, I hope I've answered your questions, or some of them.
Yes, you have. Thank you. It's definitely what I know I've been looking at now. Like I know that's where I'm not having the clarity around, and that's probably why I'm not excelling into what I want to be doing. So as you said, that's when we become suffering, and then my ideal client will be suffering. Like, I totally agree. I have felt like I'm suffering. I'm like, come on.
And look, part of this, I really feel that, okay, yes, we've got to learn all this business stuff, but at the end of the day, this is an inner work transformation. How can you not, and we have to grow in order for our businesses to grow. There's going to be fears. There's going to be things that we're doing that are going to make you want to probably vomit when you first do them. And then as all the things, when I first got on I've said this story a million times. I mean, I badly twisted my ankle before my first ever webinar, and it was like a self-sabotage, and all these emotions came up, and I was so over myself. I'm 40 fucking 2. I'm like, I am not letting my freaking issues, my father, and all this stuff, stop me. Oh wait, I've unmuted people accidentally. We're having a little dance party here. How does that happen? I'm seeing someone. Sorry, guys. I don't know how that happened. I can hear everyone. Really, everything that was difficult has gotten really easy. And the same thing will happen for you. It's around practicing. It's around showing up. You release another 10 emotions. You have a new heightened state of awareness and more groundedness in yourself, and you go to the next level and the next level and the next level. It's a constant evolution. Every week I'm learning something new or moving more deeply into my truth. Does that make sense?
Yes, definitely.
So I feel, sorry, I keep unmuting everything as I touch. Oh, wait, here we go. Mute all. Continue. Mute all for a second. Okay. So, guys, who is going to speak next? I've never done this before, so maybe someone can someone type to me in the bottom, and I'll unmute the person who types first in the bottom in the chat. Do you see where it is, everybody? Hi, everyone. Someone has a question, and then I'll see your name come up. I'm ready anytime. Is that Eva? Did you just say that? Okay, I'll unmute you. Okay, darling. Can you hear me? Hi, sweetie.
So my biggest challenge with trying to figure out whether or not this is right is that it doesn't really fit in with my current business model at all.
Yeah.
Because currently what I do is I offer low priced products that serve a lot of people, and I create them once, and then either I relaunch them if I feel like it, or I let them be passive income, or I close them up if it's not resonating to continue sharing a particular thing. Mm-hmm. And I mean, I can do really well with that in terms of financial whatever, you know, and sometimes I do and sometimes I don't, which is totally a mindset thing. I completely understand, you know, but I've had, you know, for lower price stuff, I've had 100 people sign up in 24 hours. And I've had, you know, so a lot of,
So how much are you charging for a product where 100 people sign up in 24 hours? How much is it?
it really depends. It really depends. My least expensive product that I've ever had has been $27.
Okay.
And that was for like a group 21-day program where there wasn't any additional support. It was just like receiving the emails and then having the content.
Okay.
And it's kind of like almost like an interactive ebook, but not even really that interactive. The way I set it up, it felt like a course, but it was more like an ebook in web format, if that makes sense. Do you know what I mean? And I do that a lot because I could easily make these things into books. Go ahead.
Absolutely. Well, I will tell you one thing. You're not going to want to throw that out. You want to absolutely up the ante on that and drive more traffic and get your Facebook ads going, your opinions, and really look at a strategy, because having passive income like that's awesome. In the meantime, in order for you though to make sure, I think that you have more cash flow to continually build your business and to pump into ads, into strategy, maybe get your sales pages even more shebang. I know that you've got like about 10,000 people on your page. It's awesome. But there's nothing stopping you from also doing the higher end and doing some higher end programs. You could even do a 90-day intensive with private as well as group. There's so many different things that you could be doing where you do a launch, you sell it to 20 people or 15 people or whatever, and it is a $5,000 price point. At the same time, like right now, I've got digital products on the pipeline. I've got my sales module and all this other stuff coming down the pipeline. I'm going to do a money course coming down the pipeline. It will be all digital, right? But at the moment, I'm making, you know, over $350,000 from my mastermind while I'm doing high-end empire. And I need that capital to continue to do everything else that I'm doing and to live the lifestyle that I want to live. And also then, of course, that I'm helping an incredible amount of people do what they need to do. And it's an awesome, beautiful experience for me. So you've already got so many people on your list. So I think it's just repositioning, creating a few new higher end offers that you can, babe, if you wanted to, with the amount of people that you've got following you, you're great on video. You could start bringing in some serious cash whilst, like immediately, whilst looking at, I really want to get you to map it out, whether we do something together or not, like a little bit of an intensive or something, or we do it together as a group where everyone can learn from it, and we get a big whiteboard. And I want to basically be able to see where we're really going with this. What are the products that are really selling well? What resonated? Okay, well, what's really involved if we want to do 1,000 units?
Right.
You know, because in terms of getting your warm leads up, and what type of launch strategy would we be doing in order to get that going? So even though I do teach high end, that's not all I do. It's it depends on where the person's at. The reason why I don't encourage low end to begin with is because so many people don't pull it off very well, and they sit there going, oh my God, I've got no cash flow. I feel like a failure. I want to quit. So for me, also, as you all guys know my story, I wanted to make the cash pretty quickly because my husband also lost his job and I was burnt out, and I wanted to transform everything really quickly. Otherwise, I wouldn't be sitting here doing what I'm doing with you. So if I did low end, even selling my products at $1,000 to 17 people, it would have killed me. I just wouldn't have been able to keep going.
Right.
So I think for you, you're sitting in a very ripe, beautiful, incredible position. So hats off to you for everything that you have created. You're sitting on a gold mine, girl. You just need to.
Oh yeah, no, absolutely. And the thing is that I do have a funnel where basically the way it works is I start people out with the low end products.
Yeah.
And then I do have more high end. My higher ticket program is a raw food teacher training. So what happens is people are interested in raw food. They come in, they see how easy it is because I make everything easy. I mean, it's like stupid simple the way that I walk people through it. And even if people have been trying to do it for a long time, we work through the mindset and I make it easy. And so between those two things, they're good. Yeah. And so they get so inspired then that they want to sign up for the teacher training. So then the teacher training is a much higher ticket item than the $27. Yeah. And they've already sort of been primed by having pulled out their credit card for me. So even though it was a low price product, they already had a great experience And then they're more likely to want to work with me, and they trust me, and they know that I'll deliver, and they know that they got results with that. So they expect that things will go well with something else that I would do. So, I mean, I do have really nice things that I've put in place. My biggest challenge with wanting to do the high-end stuff is that it also requires scheduled time, one-on-one.
Yeah.
And the way that my lifestyle works now.
But you could also do, so I don't mean to interrupt you because I'm just rushing.
Yeah, go ahead.
The other thing that you could do is a group high-end program. This is not necessarily one-on-one. I create coverage for myself with my mastermind group because I do 2 live calls every month, and then I do private. I used to have different tiers depending on, but what I've done is streamlined it so they get a lot of time at the beginning because it's different because we go into massive strategy stuff. But then it drops off to 2 half-hour sessions a month, and that's it. You might even do less than that. You could also have a tier with no private time with you.
Right.
It's a very intimate, beautiful container. So you get the cash flow, but you don't have to spend so much of your energy holding space for so many more people.
Right. Right.
Yeah. And I also feel, obviously you're a healer as well, so you don't need to tell me that. So I feel that you need to bring in more of that into your work a little bit as well.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's sort of like I mean, of course it's who you are. I can feel it in your energy. It's just, why would you, like, what you're doing is like medicinal, but there's more going on there. And it's like pretty potent energy actually, which is awesome. I'm excited for you. I get all like, that's so good. So I'd like to see you bring that more forward as well in terms of your packaging, how you're positioning yourself. Yeah, but it's awesome. It's exciting. But yeah, we can look at ways to make sure that you're not draining your life force and that it's not too much work for you. And I think, this is the thing, this is the beauty of it all for everybody listening as well, is that we want to look at where the overflow is for you. How do you build something that's going to be streamlined, sustainable, that lights you up? If you're going to be drained and exhausted and you're getting into this adrenal type of fatigue, then that's not going to be it. So we need to be really smart about it. But if you're aware, which you are, that's wonderful. So that for you is not really an option unless it's very short, powerful sessions that you're doing privately.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I think having that group component is so beautiful and so powerful. Like all my girls that, whether it's in High-End Empire or CEO Diva, they have these beautiful, intimate, divine relationships. Like they're catching up on calls together, they're supporting each other. So that makes it more a collective, also space holding as well. So it's not all on your shoulders.
Yeah. I will tell you that's the biggest thing that attracts me to what you do and how you do it, is that I really feel it very intensely with your energy that you are doing an amazing job of holding that container. And I don't know if it's something that I said yesterday, or maybe someone else said something that inspired just the subject line you had in your email today, but it's very funny for me. I can pick up on anybody's energy with whatever. And I got tagged in something the other day, and I got so triggered by it because it was this like fake spirituality thing, and this guy who wants you to build a business, and like you can just feel the like it was just, I was so turned off by it. And I just and I got tagged in it, so I felt like I wanted to respond to it because I have a good relationship with the person who tagged me, and I just wrote back and I said, I'm not interested in this at all, but thank you for thinking of me. And then the guy wrote to me back, and I was just like, oh God. And so I just blocked him at this point. So that way there won't ever be anything that I see that has to do with this person. But it's refreshing, and it's very nice to see someone who's obviously doing a good job holding that container, who's also in alignment with, do you know what I mean?
I try my best. I think that's a big thing, and thank you for saying that. It's so beautiful. And I think at the end of the day, that's why I say, like, everyone, whether they're aware of it, reads energy, and it's a feeling, it's a frequency, isn't it? The other thing is, though, I will say from a teaching point of view, I'm always having to make sure that, and this is good for anybody, whether they work with me or not. I know that you guys are all healers and mystics that seem to come into my energy, but making sure that we're always clearing our energy and not taking it on, and holding that sacred space and allowing people to rise up, because we really see their brilliance. We don't have to go in and rescue. And so I've had to learn that the hard way, to really make sure And it actually makes me better at what I do because I'm not then going into that energy of that struggle for the person, that you just hold and you stay in your frequency so that they have to rise up. And if I ever get too exhausted or tired, I'm like, okay, something's out of alignment or I just need to stop. So for all you guys, we have to be aware, right, where we just need to sometimes pull back and go. But yeah, and I've had to learn that, absolutely. And I was speaking to one of my clients and she gave me some advice one time. She was saying, just say this is not mine and send it up. And then one day she was freaking out and I'm like, are you following your own advice? Are you disconnecting? Because what I was doing was downloading from the higher dimensions, but I wasn't clearing. So it's like, I'll just download, but I won't use divine force to make sure that I stay here. I'll just go into that and being careful not to go into that mothering energy, because you want to be loving and kind and everything, but just, yeah. So anyway, thank you for saying that. I'm going to keep going. I hope I've answered your question. Did you have anything else that that comes up for you? Just private message me. Okay, blessings, beauty. You're a dream, by the way. You're so gorgeous. Lovely talking to you. Bye.
Bye.
Who is next? Are you helping me, Chris? It's Sharon. Okay, let me go to Sharon. It's a lovely girl there that looks like Famke Jensen or something. Hi, you've got dark hair with sunglasses. Who's that? I can see you. Who is that? What is your name? Can you type to me? Where are we going? Sharon. I'm trying to find you, Sharon. Oh, hey, okay. I'll unmute you. Hey, gorgeous, Sharon. I would like to know if this gorgeous program is only for coaches. I teach live cooking classes for children, and my course will be about teaching parents how to cook with their kids at home. Yeah, no, I definitely, really at the end of the day, Sharon, you're wanting to bring in more business, right? You're wanting to bring in more clients. You're unmuted too, by the way, so you can talk to me if you want to. Eva, by the way, also does something maybe a little bit similar. So really this is for anyone. I seem to attract a lot of healers, but I also work with business coaches. I've got Facebook ad strategy clients. I've got someone here, Tammy, who signed up, who is a career coach. So it will work for you. We do need to make sure that we're looking at what you're already selling and how we're going to drive more traffic and bring in, so that you have booked out classes. So we want to look at what your actual calendar is, how we're driving traffic, how we're bringing people into your business. We want to look at price points. You might even want to look at other things, I don't know, in terms of your personal life and your family and having children and whatnot, but whether you want to do weekend intensives and kind of retreat type intensive with parents and kids, or you could even potentially down the line, depending, I don't know if this would actually resonate with you, doing a special kids camp. So what I start to do is really start to download. Like I've got a friend of mine who runs, I don't know if you've heard of it, Soul Camp. So it's a camp for adults. So what I'm doing here is also really helping, I suppose I'm a creative person, and really downloading different ideas and things that you can bring to the forefront that you may not have actually thought of yet. So we can take your passion and your excellence and then really broaden the idea and the concept of where we're really going to be going. Does that make sense, Sharon? Can she hear me? I thought I unmuted her. Maybe I didn't. No, I is unmuted. She may have had to go. Okay, can someone else type and let me know if you would like to ask me a question so that I can unmute you. So if you type in the typing box on down the bottom, I can see. Hello, do you see me? Lady with the glasses, sorry, I don't know. Oh, Camille has a question. She's just excited to get started. Yes, Camille. Lady with glasses. Do you have a question? No, she doesn't. Okay, you're good. Can you let me know what you do? You're a healer of some sort. You've got something. Yeah, you're good. Okay, you can also unmute yourself when you want to. My husband's so sweet. He's looking after our daughter and he's trying to help me out. I'm not the most techie person, but I can get on camera. I know how to do that. So if anyone's worried about not being techie, you've also got Chris to support you because he's our tech geek. So Chris, my husband, came to work with me about a year ago. So he actually runs classes and will be doing tutorials and extra classes in the group. If there's something that you're not learning well, say with Facebook ads, or we've got all the training, but if you need extra support, all you have to do is link him in and say, Chris, I'm not getting this. We don't want to offer things that we can't deliver on in terms of our business. Like we'll go and have a private chat with you or anything like that, like in terms of doing your own lecture, but we may do a call where we record it just with that person, and we might use your, say, Facebook Power Editor to go through more training, and then if you give us permission, we can then share that with the group. That's the type of stuff that we do, so that if you're not understanding something or getting what you need, all you need to do is reach out to us so that we can create additional content if we haven't covered it in the way that your brain works, right, in order to learn it. Your voice did not come through. Okay, that was great, Sharon. Okay, did you have another question at all? I think so. With this, as I said at the beginning of the call, some people came late. This is really a very intimate program where I really get to know everybody. You have a special email to email me your offers. I go through them. I ask you questions. I'll give you homework. I'll do it one time for every single person who joins, at least one time. I will also send your offer when you're ready, when we think that it's really done and your core objectives and the outcomes and the messaging is on the money. I will send it off to my editor to make sure it's all right and tweaked, and then you can go and get those offers out there and use some of that stuff also for your live streams, your messaging, your sales pages. So we're going to be going through everything from copy, how to make sure, like, so for example, I mean, at the end of the day, I think that one of the things that's so important here is selling. So as you're selling and making money, and if you're having questions come up or someone says to you things like, why are you so expensive? If you get people actually asking questions like that, or a client wants to go away and think about it, or you've got a lot of objections coming up, we'll be looking at, number one, what energetically is happening, because usually you attract what you haven't yet healed. I don't really get people telling me you're so expensive. I have had clients though have that happen. We need to educate the marketplace on what they're actually getting. So the only time you'll usually get a question like that is usually, number one, we need to own what we're doing more within ourselves, because that doubt or that kind of those sorts of questions usually comes from something within us and where it's been projected back and forward, right? So that we look at that part of it, but then we're also going to look at, well, what are you actually communicating? Because when we clearly articulate what it is that we offer, when you go to talk about a price, it's not a big usually sticking point. People get the value of what you're bringing. And so when you say, it's $10,000 over 6 months, you can put $3,000 down. So what's that? So $10,000, they put $3,000 down, equals that, divided by another 5 months, and it's $1,400 a month by 5 months. They're like, okay, so I'm going to be teaching you exactly how to do that, but as you're going, these things are going to come up for you. So you basically have someone on your case. You can even message me. I really want most of it to come through on the group, but if you're like in the middle of doing something, you really need to reach me, you just tag me. If you haven't heard from me, message me and I'll try to get back to you to give you the support that you need in order to close, sorry, I'm using that terminology, I'm tired, but close the client. Make sure that they feel safe enough to invest in your offer. What else? I suppose in terms of making money in this program, when is it, people will say, when is it that I can start making money and start selling? Partly that's up to obviously me to hold space for you and give you good content, and I hope that I really have. People have been blown away by the content, and they're giving me testimonials without me even asking for them. Like Tabitha just did one. I helped her shape her whole mastermind. I've already got on a call, the group joined in on Zoom exactly like this. I'm kind of doing private coaching with people as we go as well. So everyone's going to learn from the experience, but I will do that with everybody if they need that. If you're saying, okay, I really need to quickly launch my mastermind, what are the price points? What are we looking at? I give you all my stuff. Like I'm going to give a new business coach actually arrived, and we're talking about a mastermind for her, Jessica. And I said, okay, well, let me give you all my prices and how I lay it all out for my CEO Diva. Go and do the same thing. You might start with a lower tier price. Take all the stuff. It's taken me hours to do this stuff. Take it and run with it. So in terms of making money, it's really going to come down to, like, some people really, okay, how do I say this? But they use me. They ask me heaps of questions. They're asking me for this support. What do I have to do? How do I get this done? And they have a quickening kind of feeling going on because they're actually using me in the program and the support that's available. Those people make money quickly. The people that don't participate, I've had people pay me in full and not turn up to one class. That's how it goes. So you either, and you guys are all going to find this, I'm sure you probably even found it already in your profession. You know, people, it's up to, it's a co-creation. So if you're ready to go, that's insane. Someone just says that someone doesn't show up to a call or a class. Yeah. So I had another lady admit to me today, which is really beautiful and vulnerable, that she doesn't usually follow through. And I'm like, well, if that's the only healing that you get from me here, then it's going to be worth it. Because if you do not break this cycle emotionally of getting through this, I'm sorry, and I'm going to just be honest today, you are not going to make your business fly. Because at the end of the day, it does take really deliberate intent and diligence. Like even me, like posting today on my group that I've got this call coming up, I have a, you know, looking at what support structures you need. So when you start making money, you need support. You need a VA. You can't do it. Chris and I alone, like we started fighting quite a bit. At one point it was like, oh my God. And it's like, and I said to him, I knew it. And we didn't hire someone early enough. And I'm like, you've got to start building your team. And then I'm looking at it now. We've got this amazing VA. We've actually got two. We've got one for $6 an hour. We've got one for $50 an hour. So having your team and all the pieces that you need in order to, I call it your container. So when we started to really build the business, and I was like, I got this download. It's like, and I said to Chris, if we don't have the right structures here, we're going to get swallowed up. Like you just can't hold it. So you've almost got to start building the energy framework as well as the strategic framework and the support people and everything that you need to hold the influx of money and the influx of people. Because say you're making money, but you're not honoring the agreements that you've set forth with all the people that you're working with, your whole business implodes. Your reputation goes down the toilet. So, you know, I knew it was coming. It didn't happen as quickly. I sort of shelved that to Chris. And then I was like, okay, it's got to happen today. Where's our person? And that all happened when I was running the last round of High-End Empire. So in order for me to deliver, or for you guys to deliver on the levels, if you're really doing it, like, so you want to be one of the best in the business. This is not about us coming here to be average on every level. You want to make money, you've got to be thinking about, you know, someone said something about, I think I saw this actor who's doing this masterclass in acting, what's his name, a comedian, grey hairs, Steve Martin. He said, you know, don't come to me talking about your headshot and your this and trying to get an agent. I loved it because it was like, he's speaking my language. He said, tell me how you're going to be good. You know, and I thought, but I want to even go beyond that. Tell us how. I'm always asking the divine, how can I be, and I don't mean this from ego at all, how can I be great? How can I be that woman who is really there for her clients, that woman who, you know, how I paid for a high-end type course years ago with a woman that I do admire, who I think is lovely, and it was $1,000. And you know what? She fucking wasn't on her group at all. There was nothing. The content was all audio. It was flat as I'm just sorry, guys. I'm tired. I'm going to say it as it is. It was as flat as shit. It was as boring as all F. And there's no transformation. There's no nothing. So this is not $1,000 program. This is a substantial investment. I could have just charged half and done 5 weeks. I went, no, I want to give these people more. I interviewed every single woman who worked with me, and I gave them extra time for free. I gave them weeks because I like a crazy person, which I haven't done. I've done a little bit this time, but in order to protect my energy, I haven't done heaps of coaching with people who've joined up over the last few weeks, because the last time that I did High-End Empire, like a bit of a lunatic, I started coaching people hardcore because I didn't want them to wait. And I was just like, but that's the level that I bring to the table. It's like making sure that people get that really deep support. And what is required in that is a team. What is required in that I have all the backup systems, otherwise I can't hold the space and everything implodes. And if I'm getting sick and I can't teach. So that's why, and I made it 90 days, going back to the point that I was trying to make to begin with, is that the girls had already been in for 90 days, because for some people, it's such a fucking head fuck, sorry, and such a huge shift to make, that you're going through such an emotional, spiritual healing, physical healing as well, that it needs to be that time in order for you to have that sacred container to hold you during that shifting. So yeah, that's kind of how it goes around here. But I suppose, I think some of my clients have said to me before, the level what I do bring to the table makes them think, well then how do I do that from a place of overflow for themselves? But then they can begin to see, well, that's actually how you also make money. Not all of us, like if you've got digital products, I'm going to have heaps of digital products. I want a multi-million-dollar business doing digital products for many reasons, also for social stuff that I want to do in my life, right? But all of that, I want to have this level of care and excellence. And so, for example, if people are doing digital products, what back-end systems are we doing a membership site as well? What are we doing to make sure that we have a level of support structure for people? Because that actually does help to then financially grow the business. You have that level of service, and then that level of financial wealth comes in as well, because you have everything's in alignment and people start talking about you. But even more than that, like client referrals, and what I've noticed in my own business, it's like a web. It's like, you know, and I don't always get it right. Sometimes I have gotten sick. I have gotten overwhelmed. I have gotten exhausted. I have picked up too much of people's stuff. I've had to learn really how to manage my energy. So, but I will tell you that, oh my God, like when you start to have this level, and it's not a huge thing. You move through it quickly, you learn and you recalibrate. But it's like a web. What I mean by that, we're talking about the matrix. So you have all that love in your heart, and you do honor your word, and you give, and whether you're teaching cooking or food or nutrition or Facebook ad strategy. I'll tell you something about Facebook ad strategy soon, about people as an example, who let other people down, the whole business implodes. But it's like a beautiful web of energy, and people just start coming in. It's because the intent is there. It's like there's nothing out of alignment. There's a flow. There's a beautiful flow. So when I'm actually talking about it, it's almost like a dance. You're putting out all that love, the energy and whatnot. Obviously, you're going to have your enrollment systems. You need the right copy. You need the right messaging. You need the right marketing. You need to be doing the live streams. You need to be making those live streams. I'll tell you how I work as well, even in the launch. I have a client. Her name's Bridget. She's doing a launch. Some of her stuff's converting well. The other stuff's not converting as well, right? We're like, okay, bam. Let's pivot, let's move. You don't break down, you don't stop. Something's wrong. She says, I think my energy is good. I'm like, your energy's good. This is not about your energy. The marketing is off. We need to shift. Like we called a live training of hers a love intervention. She's teaching people how to, you know, shift their energy to attract more love into their lives. So I'm like, love intervention sounds like couples counseling. We've not hit the nail on the head. Let's change the title. Let's tweak this, tweak that. We can get it. We've gotten it done with it. You know, you start to get these things done within 24 hours. It's staying the course and learning how to move. For me, it's video, 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 ad, boom, 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 boom. It works in a rhythm. So I know when I was going through my upper levels, and I constantly do as well with the business growing, but I was like, okay, we need to have a level of speed and frequency in the way that we're doing things. Now, I don't mean to scare people off. You don't need to start that way, but that's where I want you to go. It's like there is a rhythm and there's an ease around it. So you need to get the expertise around it. You need to build your team, but it's a movement. When it isn't moving like that for me, and this might be to do with a certain type of personality, but for me, I find it as heavy as all F. I get drained. So this has also been about me becoming, and this is the same for you, the CEO diva of the ship. You know, me making sure that my husband's not the leader of this business. It's me. It's my vision. It's my purpose. He's my support person. I can't get him to be the fucking leader of the ship. You need to become visionary as well, not only with your healing work or or the actual transformation or service that you provide. If you're a business coach or whatever, but you need to become almost the same with the strategy side of the business. You've got to do both. You've got to be visionary. So what I was saying is it's very creative. So always I'm like downloading new content ideas, and it is like boom, 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 boom. And it has to move in that way, especially if you want to get into the hundreds of thousands of dollars. It's like, it's a whole other ball game, right? So I'm hoping for you guys that the high-end empire is going to lay a very solid foundation for yourself. Now, I didn't start running like that at the beginning. About 2.5, 3 years ago, I can't even remember. It's on my daughter's almost 4 in a couple of months, but it really was probably about 4 years ago that I started selling high-end. I didn't know what the hell I was really doing. I just created these packages and started selling them. And then I was like, okay, I'd never done a Facebook ad. I did my first Facebook ads to opt-in. I still use my Sacred Money Miracle as one of my core opt-ins. So I'm going to be teaching you guys all to do that. It brings me an enormous amount of traffic. It brings me people that are almost ready to buy from me. Do you understand? Get the power of that. I don't really have to sell them hard on a call or anything because I've already given them so much information. So the biggest thing also there is the law of generosity. Do not hold back. Like I've got some amazing channeling spiritual diva women, right, that have come to work with me, and I'm like, we don't know what it is you do. Everything that you do that's magical is behind closed doors. Bring it forward. Do a video and make it a live stream and get 50,000 hits. You doing a friggin' channeling. If you want to do Qigong on a video, go do it. If you're a business coach, but you're also a healer and you do Qigong and movement exercises, get out in nature. And this is where I'm talking about being creative, being visionary with how you're showing up and expressing yourself out there in the world, right? So what is it like? So I have one client who's just an absolute, they're all goddesses, oh my God, every single one. One client, a goddess, ethereal looking, blonde, long, flowing hair, and she's this amazing channel. I've seen her work. I've hired her so that I could really understand her level of work to see what she does. And I'm like, well, why aren't you the next Doreen Virtue? What the hell, what are you doing? And it's because she's hiding. It's when you're hiding, doesn't mean that you don't have the talent. The structures aren't set up, the energetic structures, as well as I was just going to say, like whether there's stuff around not really owning your ability, like this is what I see so much, these most amazing, talented women, and yet there's a level of doubt around the ability, and that is like the poisons, because you're not then strategically thinking, how do I build this mother? How do I really, you know, have hundreds of thousands of people buying my products? Or how do I feel a mastermind? You're thinking more about, oh my God, I'm not really that good, or I'm blah, blah, blah. You're stuck in that drama and you're not being then strategic about what it is that you need to build. And I've done that myself, and you spend 90% of the time thinking about all the shit rather than actually on, the question always should be, who am I serving today? What am I going to say? How am I going to create a pattern interrupt? And when I mean pattern interrupt, how am I going to make people stop and listen? What part of myself am I going to show today? That's where our attention needs to be, right? So I also want to encourage you and help you to make sure that your frame of mind and your mindset and energy gets like, it's a laser. It's like, I'm building this baby, let's go. This is what we're doing. Emotions will come up. Things will come up that need to be released. We're going to look at them, we're going to process it, and we're going to let them go, and we're going to keep going. It's the only way that you're going to do this. Is everyone getting me here? I'm craving the flow. I keep burning myself out with all that I'm trying. Yes, the trying is a really interesting one. Been there. It has a lot to do with I'm not enough. It also has to do with having a veil. So you're actually still, you're like, there's all this posturing, all this efforting, but you're not really, still not showing your true self, because there's all this insecurity there as well. And there's all this overt trying and pushing, and the grind, the masculine energy of getting it done, and it actually repels people, and in the meantime you burn yourself out. So we're going to try less, but we're going to show who we are and own who we are, and there's going to be more of an ease and flow coming in for you. I've definitely been there. I come from 2 immigrant parents. very hard workers, came to Australia with no money, got one Russian father, one Macedonian mother. And I learned hard work, and that almost killed me. So I thank them for teaching me about resilience. I thank them for teaching me about getting shit done, but we need to balance it out. Otherwise we end up, being exhausted. Off topic. Oh my God, I love that ring, Ingrid. Yes, it is an aquamarine. This is it's a cheap stone actually. People say don't say that to people, but it was only maybe $300 or $400, and it's still, my mother actually did it for me, but it was set in Hong Kong cheaply, but I love it. But it's filthy. She'd say, Ingrid, that's so disgusting. It's so grimy. Yeah, thank you very much. So if you want to talk, guys, please let me know. So basically, this is a comprehensive, I can't even say the word, strategic business model that we'll be following, but we're also going to bring in lots of woo-woo, lots of divine feminine processes into this divine sacred community. What else is it? It's just a new paradigm of business, really. I have had adrenal fatigue in my life. I have burnt myself out. I used to have my own clothing line in New York. I used to work in advertising, pitching and selling TV shows. I had a partnership with a big ad firm there called the Concept Farm. So I was a hustler from way back. I know how to hustle like anyone's business. And one day I couldn't get out of bed in New York City. I literally couldn't walk to my toilet, which was my bathroom, which was like steps away. Severe adrenal fatigue. So I understand what it's like. I've also studied nutrition. I've studied mind-body medicine. I've also done body image and divine healing, spiritual work with my clients. I've had clients come to stay in my house. I am a healer myself. I understand your content. So I've done eating psychology, you name it. I've studied my ass off for the last I'm 42, so I've been doing this for a long time. So, but also I suppose my biggest journey was I've had debilitating health issues when about now 12 years ago. The time has gone fast. I've had a benign tumor in my uterus, many surgeries, blood poisoning from that, which really was a soul crisis. I've suffered from everything from eating disorders to chronic depression, major horrible family drama that you could not imagine. So why am I telling you this? Because I understand how to create content, because I've lived it. I've had many dark nights of the soul. I've had to rebuild. I've had like 3 surgeries on that stomach of mine, a hemorrhage during my operation. I had no family to turn to at that point. And I had to rebuild my life. And I got down on my hands and my knees. I didn't want to cry. And started praying. And that's how I had a healing methodology called Body Love Diet. It stands for Daily Intuitive Energy Transformation. I've learned to rebuild my entire life on my own. No husband, no boyfriend, no father, no mother, no one. It was myself. And I understand what it takes to start from ground zero. I've had a managing clothing line. I've raised hundreds of thousands of dollars. I take full responsibility from this. I had a lawyer say, I'm a Jewish man with a chip on my shoulder. I'm going to steal your company from you. And so that happened to me. I lost my entire company due to blackmail because my lawyer stole my corporate kit and wrote out 60% of the stock to himself. It was like a movie. Take full responsibility for it. Intuition. I knew he was dodgy. I thought I needed him. Universe gave me exit clause. I forgave him when we moved on, and he ripped me off, and that's what happened. Then I had to start again. So everything that I'm here to teach comes from, like, it goes beyond business. It goes beyond, it's like it's partly my life journey that I put into this. So I understand the depths of despair. People think like, oh, Ingrid, you're so fierce, you're so strong. I'm fierce and strong because I understand what it's like to be debilitatingly weak. And I am here to bring you up and to make sure that you can really do the work that you're called to do. People judge me. Oh, you're talking about money. Well, fuck you. I'll talk about money all I fucking want because I have no guilt and no shame because I know who I am. You charge the prices that that your clients, they need to pay it in order to have the transformation that they need to have. If you have excellence, this is, I say it over and over again, sorry for the spiel about it. This is not, don't come and work with me if you don't have excellence. Don't come and work with me if you want to be a 2-bit healer or you put a shingle on your fucking doorstep. This is not about what I'm not about that. I'm about making sure that we are like profoundly exquisite in what we have to offer. And don't tell me you don't know enough. Get with the program and understand that you have an absolute ability, and then make sure that you carry through in your word, you honor your agreements, and then the money that people are paying you is a fucking pittance. It's like people pay me $25,000 a year for my mastermind, and it is worth so much more, the level of what I give. It's like, if they say, I've got clients who come, and this is not to go on, I mean, they have had already previous business experience, but they did $60,000 in 1 month. And so how did we do that? They were selling a $5,000 offer and they had an idea for a mastermind. And I said, what the fuck are you doing selling the $5,000 offer? You guys need to make money. You guys are exhausted. You're burnt out. You're overgiving. You're hustling like just crazy. It's ridiculous. Everything's out of alignment. Drop the 5K offer. And they had another marketing coach. She was telling them, do the small one first. I said, no, don't. Get rid of it. Only focus on one thing. You can't hold and market 2 things at the same time. It will drain you. Get one thing right, because they are very tired. And so they focus just on, thank you, Tracy. They focus just on doing the mastermind, and that's where they put their attention. We raise the prices. We actually cut out half of the stuff. They were trying to do 2 retreats and give people 5-day 2 retreats. The amount of hours that they were giving them was literally making one of them ill. And I'm like, what are you doing? It's too much. You're just overcompensating. One huge belief, by the way, that I've had to release, which I think almost every healer has to release, is this need to like overgive. And it's like that you have this, that you have to carry the burdens of the world, and it creates really toxic relationship with your clients. No, if you really believe in them, it's you're teaching them to rise up. They need to learn. Right? I used to do people's copy all the time and help them with all this shit. And I'm like, no, you need to learn it. I'm not doing it for you anymore. Let's go. Give me a rough draft. I'll look at it. Go do the rough draft. You need to learn how to do this stuff, because you need to be doing it every other day. So anyway, we just realigned everything for them, simplified it all, cut out half the amount of hours, and they are selling. But more importantly, they are healing within themselves, because that level of, when you're structured and you're giving too much, the whole business will fall over, because you're going to fall over. I'm an overgiver in the past and burnt out also. Yes, Sam, I've been there. I've been there. In order to actually serve more people. So for example, if I have a client, like I let go of one client recently, I'm just telling you my whole private life, there's no secrets here. I had a client come in, the CEO Diva, and she's like every day complaining she didn't want to spend money on her like opt-in. I'm helping her with the opt-in. She's a good writer. We were getting there, and then they just goes, oh, the design's not that great. I don't really have that much money. You're spending like $2,500 a month on me, but I don't really have the money. I said, I'll get my designer to do it for you. She's like, cheap as chips. I'll even cover it. Oh, no worry. I'll just see if it like gets hit rate, but like whether it will convert. But then their whole design was just terrible. I told her it was horrible, and she just wanted to see if it would just like randomly work. Now that for me is just like, why wouldn't you make it the best it can possibly be from the get-go? It's your brand, it's your energy, it's a level of respect for your potential new client. It's like, and then she's like talking about going to Vipassana when she's then freaking out about paying for her mortgage. And I'm like, babe, in a private setting with the type of vibration that's in CEO Diva and then me, I'm like, you're not ready, darling. You're not ready for this. We've got to go on hold and take a break. Because what happens then for me, the level of what I need to give to that person, the energy, then actually dilutes all the energy that I have to give to people in High End Empire and all my other private clients. So it's really interesting about being very mindful and being very abundant myself, that I can release a client that is not ready for the work, and I want you all guys to take this on whether you work with me or not, that there's always another client around the door, like tomorrow, the next day, that day, bam, 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 bam. When we go into, oh my God, I need to hold on to that client, because, and we feel like we've got to carry them and hold on. It's a heavy relationship. Especially when you're doing private work. Oh my God, got to go. Let it go and allow something. And it's not from unloving. Some people are just not ready. Some people are wanting you to save them, and that doesn't work either. So it's really learning to, I was actually doing some coaching with girls in CEO Team, and a client of mine had a client a little bit like that, with that dragging feeling. And she just had a very loving chat to her and said, you're amazing, I love you, but you're gonna show up, because she a little bit had that desperate feeling of like, I've got to make it work for this client, and it's actually to do with your scarcity, because you think that you've got to hold on to the client, but you don't. They have to co-create and co-participate, or they need to be released, or they need to be spoken to in a way that is like, come on, you have to rise up, you have to do this work, otherwise it's not going to work. And my client got to that level, and she was able to just speak to her with love, but in a very detached way, inviting that client to come up, to rise up. She had a choice. She's either going to come or not, right? And the client had a wake-up call, and she actually said, people are either going to love this or hate it. And the client actually said, oh my God, thank you for talking to me in this way. I'm actually getting it. And the client starts participating. So you're either going to have one thing. They're either going to be triggered, or they get triggered, and I've had clients get triggered, and they go and cry and then come back, and then they become unstoppable, or they get triggered and they run away. But I think making sure, I think from our own ethical point of view, you can't carry them. We're there to really help them transform. You've got to really be loving, but call it when they're not participating and they're letting themselves down. If they're self-sabotaging, you can't go in and just be bringing them up all the time. Anyway, that's a little bit off, but I was just talking a little bit about just making sure your frequency and what you will and will not tolerate, but also then from an ethical point of view, being honest, calling people on their stuff to inspire the shift, and they will either transform or they'll stay in their hole. I got the feeling of trying to convince people to see me. They either want to or they don't. Absolutely, Sam. Absolutely. I think though, what I always say too, I love this, is really helps to also sell, is you want to keep your eye on the prize. So if there's a client that says, oh, I don't know, I'm not really sure, or blah, 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 you just go, okay, well, you can call them on it. Like, why aren't you sure what's going on for you? But I find the more that you're showing up and just like on video, teaching, doing your work, just owning your stuff, you stay in that high frequency of I'm rich, I'm abundant, I'm attracting amazing clients who are just so committed, willing to pay me what I'm worth, with ease, love, and grace, and you just stay attuned to that. That's when more people come in, and then that person usually has an energetic shift, because you're actually sending them love. You're not sending them an attack, or why aren't they seeing me, or because that's just icky, right? I just send my people love, and if they're meant to rise up into it, they will. I'm not attached. I'm not trying to force them. I see myself. You have to see yourself. So the big thing around being seen usually is I now see me. I now honor me. I am now enough. And therefore then people start to see you, right? I gave up worrying about my mum one day when I was, I had a clothing line as well called Body Love, and she was like, oh, everything that you do, Ingrid, it makes my skin crawl and I can't stand it. Just the word body love makes me just, And I was like, that's interesting. Wow, how am I going to respond to this one? And I thought, okay, well, instead of like being distraught by this and wanting to like go into my shell of, oh my God, what am I doing with my life? And taking on board all that stuff, I've had to learn to be like, well, I'm good with it. I'm owning this. This is really important to me. I know what I'm doing. We're speaking to one of the girls who's signed up for High-End Empire here. A couple of them actually, they had a lot of grief come up when they, sorry, is that the right language? A lot of grief came up when they signed up for High Empire this round, and we did some healing work, and a lot of tears and a lot of abandonment from family, a lot of feeling like they were not really loved or held or supported by family. In there, I understand it, but we have to let that go. And the more that I've just stayed true to myself and just kept doing what I'm doing without any affirmation from anyone in my life, although my husband does try to give me support, of course, for sure, but from family, and way before he came on the scene, I just had to learn to give everything to myself. And in doing so, there has over the years been a profound level of healing, because I used to get very upset, really damaged by it all, very wounded by it all. And so that's kept me trapped in sort of this struggle and scarcity, because I would take everything on board that people said to me as kind of truth. Or if I was angry about it, but I kind of maybe slightly believed some of the stuff that they were telling me. And there was like a big energetic tear. And so we did work actually just last week about releasing all of that stuff, and the girls are doing really well. It's just, and the grief will come up. It's like a letting go, because in some way we've co-created and participated in allowing people's projection and pain and anger and ugliness and abuse to deeply, deeply wound us and stop us from doing what we're called to do. So we have to heal that family wounded stuff to a degree. Not necessarily with them, because waiting for them to change is like the worst thing that you could possibly do. I did that for years. I had to just change my relationship and my response to it and change myself. And therefore then I had all this time left to just focus on me and my business. I used to be the rescuer type of person, trying to prove that I'm a caring, loving person. I'll go and spend time with my mother, my sister, my girlfriend, my this, my that. Where's the room for me? Where's the room for my work? None. I used to be that person, and I'm still a loving, caring person, but I spend most of my time on my family, my business, working with the people who are paying me for what I say that I'm going to do, and I have a few core friends who aren't energetic drains, and that's where it's at, and that's my life. I don't have any more room for anything else. No drama. Come do it. Bye, Sharon. I love you too. See you all soon. See you soon. Does anyone else have any? I'm also really hormonal, so sorry for the tears. I've been getting my period every 2 weeks since this has been going on, because people say I need to be more in my masculine or something, but I don't know if that's completely right. But I think I'm also getting caught up in other people's cycles, so I think I need to do a clearing on that. Is there anything else that we need to cover, guys? So really at the heart of it all, I'm going to teach you how to really own your worth at a deeper level, how to really become a media company. You need to be a media company. We want you singing out there, and those social networks. We're going to be teaching you how to package up both high-end, bring in more money. We've got digital products. This is a whole monetization strategy. So I can cater it to what you're going to go on. I'm not going to just say you just have to sell high-end. If you've got, like, Eva has a whole bedrock and, you know, bevy of all these products, or at least 2 or 3 really good ones that are converting, we want to make that fly at an even bigger level whilst bringing in some cash flow to support it. And in terms of how quickly this can work for you, it's a co-creation. It's going to be about both of us showing up together and doing this together. A lot of it's going to be around your emotional resonance as well, your emotional IQ. But even if you're really scared, so many people they get so scared, and I have so much compassion for that. It's just, you've got to get to that level of making a sacred vow that you're over it, and that you might still be feeling all those emotions, of course, but it's a decision. It's a very deep decision that you will no longer struggle any longer playing small. You will no longer be trying to do it all alone. You will no longer be trying to sort of do these sort of half-assed jobs and try to get clients and then wonder why your business isn't fucking working. I'm sorry, it's because you're not doing what you need to be doing. That's not how you build a business. It's not easy. It takes a specific action and actions, I should say, specific action, I would say, every day that you need to be doing in order to build. It does take work. It really does. It does take a commitment. But the thing is, it's so beautiful about this, and I've gone through it, and so I know, is that Everything will get easier and you'll be forever changed. And if you do want to thrive in business, whether it's working with me or someone else, I'm telling you, you've got to master this stuff or you're going to want to give up. You're going to want to quit. Sometimes I think in the past, last year, I went through a lot of major up levels with, I've never done a group program like High End Empire before. And I've seen this happen again and again. And I was saying to people with a launch, you know, like when I first did my first webinar for this launch, my whole entire internet went out. I couldn't even get on Facebook. I had 600 people sign up. And I'm like, my husband was behind the scenes almost in tears. And I'm like just sitting there in my divine energy going, let's move. You tried to restart about, let's just go to the group. Let's move. I'm not buying into his freak out and you stay the course. I sold 4 units. That's it. Okay? 4 units. The first webinar I ever did last year. It was only last year I did my first webinar. 0. Do you know what I did? I just gave my all. People were blown away with the webinar. I showed up. I think I probably cried then too. And then I had that twisted ankle. I could barely sit still. I was so sore. And then I got on my group and I bloody well gave and gave and gave and gave and showed who I was and talked to my community. I wasn't sitting there going, oh my God, I'm not going to sell. This whole thing is a disaster. You can't, so the message is you can't stop at 90%. You can't stop at 95%. You go 100%. I've got people in launches now. I said to a client, pull up your big girl panties. Let's pivot. That's not converting. Let's shift it. Let's go. You don't fall over and have a nervous breakdown, right? Me, 4 units. Next one, 12 units. Then it starts flowing. So this launch, even what I'm doing, requires that I have faith and that I stay the course. I can't be doing this. Oh my God, it's not working. Oh my God, no. So what I'm trying to teach you here too, especially we have to have a level of fortitude, of groundedness. Otherwise, we are on a roller coaster ride. And I see a lot of women like that. They are scattered. They are disconnected from their bodies. It's like you're having an out of fucking body experience. I'm sorry. You've got to come back in, grounded, and you've got to have to become emotionally strong. So this is not going to just change your business. This is going to change your relationship with yourself, your relationship with your partner, your relationship with your children, your relationship with your friends. You can't be the same person that you are. We're all constantly evolving. Come and say hello. You want to say hello? That was my daughter. You don't want me to look at you? Okay. Okay. Anyway, guys, I've been going on for a little while now. I'm probably boring you. So I'm sending you lots of love. The doors are closing in 2 days. I've left it open because I thought I'm going to ride this wave all the way through. It gives me more time to speak to people, so I'm not in a rush, like, oh my God, energy. I'm having fun with this, and I'm really happy with all the women that have come on board. I'm deeply grateful. They blow my mind. I'm deeply touched. I've got women at all different levels. I've got people that consider themselves beginners. I've got people that have Harvard degrees in divinity. I have the most profound, amazing women in my group. This is not some, I don't know how to sell high-end energy, or I don't know if I can do it. People are there. They're doing videos already. They've never done a video before on live stream. They're doing it. They're sharing. They're being vulnerable. They're goddesses. The energy is very loving, very supportive. It's beautiful. So that's my wrap. If anyone has any more questions, you can either PM me or put them on the group page. Guess what I'm going to do today? This is my exciting Saturday. I'm going to go to IKEA and buy a cupboard because I'm over having all my stuff everywhere. So I'm going to go and sort out. I feel like the need to get even more organized. I've been doing some shopping lately, so I've got a lot of stuff and I want to get organized and aligned and beautifully set up. And what else am I doing? That's about it. I'm going to connect to a new kinesiologist. I work with a lot of healers. I think I've built quite a few people's businesses because I refer a lot of people on to healers. So I was wanting to manifest a new kinesiologist and another theta healer. So one woman actually was on my webinar, and she wrote to me personally, and she sent me all this beautiful healing stuff for me. She was channeling during my webinar around the whole cycle thing for me. And she just, and I want to just, why am I sharing this? I let that level of care that person to do that for me. I can recommend a kinesiologist. No, I don't know one, but I can find one for you, Melissa. But I do. Is that Sam? Is that you? Is that you, Sam? Yes, Holistic Physio. Sam, some people might work remotely. My kinesiologist that I have is amazing too. There's one that I already work with, who I send a lot of people to, and she's in Byron Bay, but she works globally with all my clients around the world. But maybe Sam will do that. I'm having a meeting with Sam this week. So why am I having a meeting with Sam? Because she just showed me her true heart, and the way that she spoke to me, and the fact that she made that gesture really touched me. And I just felt there was such a level of care, and that makes me want to buy from someone. I think, who is this person? And so I can't wait to talk to you, Sam. So that requires, that's what we teach. It's like really bringing that content to the forefront, really showing people who you are, because people will pay. I think I've spent, no joke, I've spent like $1,500 just in the last month on my self-care in order to hold the space for this launch and my family and everything. And plus I have a whole lot of private clients. So in order for me to really ride the wave of this properly, I've had to spend. And there are a lot of people with a lot of money, well, not a lot of money, but they've got money to spend. They want to invest. So you've never been in that sense of scarcity of, oh, who will pay. There's plenty of people who will pay. There's people that are selling, you know, 50K, 100K offers in any area, whether you're a channel or a mystic or a healer or a nutritionist. We need to broaden what we think is actually possible, because there are people, a lot of people, there's a lot of scarcity in the world. There's also a lot of money and people that are willing to invest in themselves. Okay, guys, so I'm sending you lashings of love. Have a beautiful, beautiful weekend, guys, and thank you for your time, okay? Lots of love. I think I'll just end the meeting. Stop.